A big accident. Oh no!
How does a driver survive at 300 kilometers per hour? What was once a death sentence has become a fortress. This video shows the brutal evolution of F1 through 10 accidents that transformed the sport. Discover how each current safety feature came at a high price, changing the history of racing forever. Lauda crashed at the dreaded Nürburgring and his car turned into a fireball. He spent 55 seconds breathing toxic fumes. It was other drivers who stopped to pull him out, not the marshals. The end of excessively long tracks, 22 kilometers, where rescue took a long time to arrive. Formula One began requiring mobile medical units for rapid intervention. The fact: the biggest crash in history. A mechanical failure at Tamburello at 210 kilometers per hour. What caused the fatality was a suspension component, not the deceleration itself. Suspension arms were redesigned so they wouldn't detach like spears. The cockpit was made higher laterally, and Formula One corners gained massive runoff areas. In Spa, Burti touched Schumacher and went head-on at 290 kilometers per hour under a pile of tires. He survived, but the force on his neck was brutal. The Hans device, that support on the shoulders, became mandatory. It prevents the head from being whipped forward, avoiding a fracture of the base of the skull. In Canada, Kubica's car turned into a pile of carbon dust after hitting the concrete. His feet were exposed, but the survival cocoon remained intact. The FIA has tightened side and frontal impact tests. The chassis now needs to withstand tons of pressure without cracking.
Massa had already made it into Q3 and was just a few seconds behind the Brawn. He went hurtling into the path of the errant spring.
An 800-gram spring struck Massa's helmet at 280 km by millimeters. He didn't lose an eye or his life. Introduction of a Zylon strip, the same material as bulletproof vests, at the top of the visor to reinforce the point of attachment to the helmet. In Suzuka, in the rain, Bianchi collided with a tractor that was removing another car. It was the last on-track fatality in Formula One. Now, the race director controls the speed of all cars using Virtual Safety Car (VSC) software, preventing them from racing in dangerous areas. Alonso rolled over 2.5 times after touching Gutierrez in Australia. The car was totaled. The detail. He walked away and said, "I spent one of my lives today." The improvement in the design of the gravel traps and Tech Pro barriers, which absorb energy much better than regular tires.
You have to be careful with these systems. I think they need to do a lot more testing and actually, analyze what they're trying to achieve before they actually start to install something like that.
And it's lights out, and away we go here at Spa. Hamilton gets away well, Perez as well. Losing his rear wing as well. And we can see now what it looked like from on board with Charles.
Hulkenberg get too deep on the brakes.
In Spa, Alonso's car took off and went over Leclerc's head. Alonso's tire left a black mark on the halo. Without it, it would have been fatal. The end of the debate about whether the halo was ugly. He proved that open cockpit protection was necessary.
Yes, he did. He gets a thump now and spun around and cleared this mess that's made of the side of that McLaren. They all know the challenges of La Source on the first lap. Here come the lights.
Tires are good, check it. We just want to keep this. Tires are good.
Looks like
The car cut through the guardrail and exploded. Grosjean was inside the fire for 28 seconds. The detail? The halo opened the guardrail like a blade, protecting his head. Gloves with greater thermal resistance and a complete overhaul of the fuel tank and fuel filler neck design.
And as it does so, that's by the barriers, and it goes over the tyre barrier.
Digs into the gravel. So we're only seeing these replays. Now we know that he's
The
okay.
red and white Alfa Romeo, plus Latifi gets in between him and Jules.
The fact. At Silverstone, Zhou's car slid upside down for hundreds of meters. The roll hoop failed to dig into the asphalt. The FIA redesigned the upper structure of the cars for 2024 onwards, ensuring that the car slides without the part breaking.
Do not ever want to see accidents like that.
Yeah, and Jules pulling to the left into the Alpha Tower. That's tripped the Alfa Romeo completely over. Luckily it lost a little bit of speed. Going round and round and round.
By Tom on side, but an even better, not by Verstappen on the inside, on the